Hi, welcome back to my podcast. Okay, so I definitely know what the hell I'm going to talk about in this one, because in my last podcast, which I literally filmed earlier today, I was like, I have another one to do. I feel like it's just definitely going to be about like having a quarter life crisis, because I'm sure that definitely comes under the category to a degree of what I'm actually experiencing at the moment. I was like, oh no, it's just because I've cut off like toxic people again. Like, you have, I think it's when you actually reflect that you see what the hell your problems actually are. Because I was just like, I was just going to cut off toxic people again, cut off the toxic family, and I got out of this like situationship deal that was like with a narcissist, and I was like, oh no, it's cool, I'll keep them on for friends with benefits type shit. But then they were like, oh, anyway, I didn't want to go into all that. So I cut that off, and I was like, well, it's just because of all this change and narcissists and blah blah blah. And yes, that can definitely disorientate you, but I'm sure I'm definitely at the same time going through a low-key quarter life crisis, because I'm 26, right? And this is the perfect time for a quarter life crisis. You've gone through, I should really Google this, you've gone through your like aging into adulthood years. Okay, you've gone through the clubbing, because I literally went back to clubbing a few times recently, and I was just like, I feel like this is my past. This is the universe showing me my past. Like, yeah, it's fun to have a night out and stuff, have a little dance, blah 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 blah, but sometimes, I've always gone out with people that's like, with alcohol, go hard or go home. Like, if and unless you're down for that shit, I don't get a great deal out of it. And also, when I do drink hard, it just makes me feel really shit anyway. So yeah, we can all appreciate a night out, but it's got to the point where it's like, I'm not dying to get shit faced all the time. I'm not living my student life where I'm like working my brain, I've got to work hard and play hard. No, my hormones are settled, and I'm like, quite frankly, I'd rather go back, well, not rather, but like, I'm quite happy to go back and have a bath, do you know what I mean, have a nice early night, do you know? But I feel like I definitely need to Google what the hell goes into a quarter life crisis, because this is probably what I'm experiencing right now, where it's just like, you just feel a bit lost, and I just really want to talk about it. I'm sure I'm not the only person that's gone through this. I'm sure some people feel it like when they get back from uni. Okay, usually people get back from uni at like 21. Maybe then they got back from uni and then they start to work, and they're like, oh well, I live on my own, I've got this little shared house or flat, but I've really not achieved much. I've got all this student debt, I've not got a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and I'm just sort of floundering in sort of existence kind of thing. Which, yes, we've got to be grateful for our existence. Life is not promised, tomorrow is not promised, sort of thing. But I feel like I'm really finding purpose in like these sort of videos and stuff. It's not necessarily even lacking purpose. It's really not a problem. This is the thing. This is why it's like a crisis. Why do human beings, when things are sweet, like, they have to do the opposite of what's happening? That is just like the level of contrast. When everything is fine, you feel like you're having a crisis. Like, what the fuck is that about? This is literally the answer that I'm finding. Maybe I need to like create some crises, and like it makes perfect sense, because then I create crises, and I don't create crises, I subconsciously have attracted crises, aka like narcissists and stuff, into my life. So I'm dealing with something, so then I don't feel like I'm having a quarter life crisis. It's absolutely crazy. And yeah, that is literally the answer, because like, I feel like you go through all of your like early adulthood years trying to find like peace, like within your hormones, because your body is going crazy, like trying to grow, and you're sort of finding your feet and stuff like that. And then when you finally get to that level playing field where your body's like, right, okay, sweet, you're an adult now, enjoy. Or like, there you go, bye bye. Then you're just sort of in this space of like limbo, and then you feel like you need to go through a crisis, and you attract what you're afraid of. But at the same time, you have enough knowledge to know that shit can go very, very wrong. Like, enough stuff has gone very, very wrong already, where you're just like, oh, I can have I can have something really, really bad happen to me. But you're not maybe going through something at that time. And you're learning about yourself. That's another thing as well. massively, so to the point where like I feel like this resonates with me. I'm like on the internet trying to Google signs of it, and it's like you go through a lot of like dark night of the soul periods. I feel like maybe it's different for different people, but for me, I feel like when I learn about myself, I sometimes go through these periods of just like what they'd call a dark night of the soul, but like maybe it might not be like super intense, or it might not be like really heavy or anything particularly, but it's just like you're learning about yourself, and it's to the point where things just like don't feel like you do. Because I feel like when you're in those years of like you're just drinking all the time, you're going out all the time, and you're sort of in your like highest alignment, you're chasing life, do you know what I mean? I feel like you tend to just like fly on this like really high vibrational level. Like, oh, I'm going to school, I'm going to work, I'm getting this new job, I got this new boyfriend, I'm doing all this stuff, and it's all very new and it's all very exciting, it's all very independent. But then when you sort of, as I say, level out a bit, when you slow down, and then on top of having this like low-key, like, again, it's only as catastrophizing as you want to make it. Do you know what I mean? This is why I'm like learning about this shit, so I don't have to go into that full-blown like, oh my god, I'm going in a quarter-life crisis type shit. And yeah, so when you're going through this like dark night for the soul type periods, like briefly and intermittently, it's almost like, you're sort of, it stagnates you a little bit, and it makes you more prone to having quarter life crisis. Going back to the beginning, yes, like the same thing as reflecting, you really start to look at like how you were raised and what the fuck abuse you endured as a child and shit like that. Whereas like I've literally cut off my family permanently now, just because I'm just like, they just were never good for me, they never will be good for me. I've cut them off before, and that's just it now. That's the final cut off, like I ain't going back sort of thing. But yeah, that as well. Understanding you now. Yes, definitely been in this for a while, where you have to just sort of like let go of the past a bit and be like, yes, that's who I presented myself as at one time, but now I'm just myself, and like I was figuring myself out, do you know what I mean? And not like holding judgment towards that. Like I literally watched a video this morning of this girl, and she went through this like whole occult phase and shit. Like I swear loads of people have done that. And she sort of was looking back at herself, and she was like holding such compassion for the person she was. Like also the person you believe that you were as well, it's often like massively warped by other people's like perception as well. Like it's not actually like necessarily what you actually were. Do you know what I mean? Because I've always been quite good at like holding compassion for my past self, but I know, for example, like there was a period of time in like teenage years, and I always just used to look back on it and cringe, but like I was fine. Like you really shouldn't like hold judgment against yourself. Yeah, I literally just followed up. The next point was letting go of judgment and being kind to yourself. Being kind to yourself is always going to serve you. Like it will literally never not serve you. And I feel like, yeah, this is another thing that I'm seeing as well, is mindfulness and the value of things like mindfulness and acknowledging your past and like not judging yourself and enjoying the process. All of those things, yes. And it uses the acronym PAUSE, understanding you now. This, like, I'm seeing the value in this. It's like, it's been something that's come to my attention for quite a few years now, of like quality of life and like having that peace of mind, because I think that's what you lack. They do say as you get older, life does get more enjoyable, and I think yes, as long as you shift with the seasons, as long as you shift with the age changes, because as I said before, I love going home and having a bath, whereas in my teen years that would have been the last thing I'd want to do, unless I'd like force myself to do it. I wouldn't have interest in that, whereas now I do. Having that peace of mind, I feel like, is what you lack when your hormones are going crazy and you're only interested in drinking and chasing life. You don't really have that time to like have your peace of mind and like just be mindful and like acknowledge nature and like acknowledge like your inner truth and finding meaning within yourself and like healing and stuff. Well, healing, yes, but and then it just begins. That's literally the end of that article. But it's like, then I suppose you just begin really like another phase of like I suppose chasing life you could look at. Yeah, I feel like it must be chasing life to a degree, because I think it's about the shift. I think it's like a shift or something that I've got to like go through at this time of I've come from this sort of particular phase to moving to another phase where it's just different, and I'm sure there's just like loads of aspects that play into this though, because it really like just depends on your fate, on what you're doing logistically in your life as well. Also your personality type, you know, what kind of like experiences you have and stuff like that. I don't know, because I don't feel like necessarily this is actually like not everyone goes through the same shit at the same time, because you know, like, and it's like maturity levels. Like some people I've literally heard like they don't age past like toddler years, and I can so see that, like the way people act and shit, and it's like, oh, that's why you act like that, because you never sort of developed emotionally. So yeah, it's one of those things. I think it must be different for everyone, because I'm assuming if you're stuck in this like infantile phase of your sort of emotional and psychological, you know, experience, then surely it probably wouldn't bother you that much that you've kind of become an adult, because you're probably used to mentally being a child or something. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, because it just must be different for everyone. And I think especially when you've sort of like gone through different phases of like self-development and stuff, or even I want to say things like what kind of person you are, in terms of like whether you're like your personality type in terms of like empathy, narcissism, but also like, because narcissists, they're perpetual for like just shoving shit under the carpet. I don't feel this way. I can just carry the fuck on. I'm the best person ever. Like, fuck everyone else. As long as I'm getting above you, then all is sweet. And yeah, we all have a healthy level of narcissism, so we can all do that shit. But I suppose when you really have more sensitivity towards certain shit in life, like, I suppose you'll be having a different experience than someone else that really just isn't capable of like reflecting on themselves. Because this is what I mean, and it's like, do you go through a quarter life crisis if you're not able to self-reflect or reflect on anything? Because like, how would you have the ability to acknowledge what the fuck is going on? Or do you just go through one and it's like an unconscious process? Because I suppose it just comes down to lack of ability to be in touch with yourself when you have things like narcissism. Like, or I've heard that like sometimes like their ability to have empathy potentially with themselves or others is actually generally intact, but it's just because of like their personality disorder they choose not to use it because of just like various reasons, which I honestly can't be bothered to talk about now. So yeah, it does make you wonder, do they go through quarter life crises, or do they just I don't know. I think it depends on things like genetics as well, as I say, environment. I just think it's like hormonal as well. Is it different for men and women? Because the fact is, we're not all genetically made the same, like physically. We've all got like levels of like things where we'll like develop differently at different stages of life. So it's like, is everyone prone to a quarter life crisis? I never thought that I'd be the type of person where I get like to the point where I'm like, oh, am I having a quarter life crisis? And I don't think I'm having a full blown one, but I'm like, I need to just like get a handle on this shit before I start to fall into that sort of level of things. And yeah, it's just what it is, because I think it's just anyway, I can't bother to discuss like narcissism and how that all comes into this. But I suppose it's just adaptation, and obviously change is inevitable of, you know, what you might do in one phase of your life in terms of when you're getting into adulting may not serve you. Like just going out drinking for the sake of it just doesn't necessarily, like I would do it as like if it was just brought up to me and my friends and we wanted to go and stuff, or like it was like a random occasion that I fancied going, but it's like just off the bat I wouldn't like see that as like my optimum night out, you know. It wouldn't be like my optimum like thing just like on an everyday situation. Yeah, it's like a one-off, yeah, sweet, or like whenever, but I'm not like super bothered anymore. And I don't know, it's all about adaptation at the end of the day, because it's just like, as long as you're getting your needs met at the end of the day, it's really like just not having judgment on, like, let's not lie, the amount of shit that boys in particular do and people in particular do, that's just so shameful. In terms of like, if you knew the ins and outs of what people actually think and they do, or what you can only assume that people think and do, you would probably be shocked and you would probably be embarrassed for them. So it's like, as long as your needs are getting met, like, it really just doesn't matter that much. And it comes down to judgment again. It's like, don't judge your current self or inner self for what your needs are. And it's obviously, yes, find the most adaptive, highest level of way to meet those needs. And I suppose don't hold judgment to a degree. I think certain stuff, if you feel like something's wrong, it probably is wrong, so maybe just don't do that. But it is about exploring things, because I feel like you can only know what your interests are and what you actually enjoy doing and what the fuck you're supposed to be doing when you actually try something. But again, it's just that weird thing where, like, as you get older, I feel like just jumping into something and being like, oh, I'm just gonna try it, like, oh, I just want to try all these new things and blah blah blah, especially as you're like nearing your like late 20s, you're not sort of in that place to just be like, oh, I just want to like try this and try this and try this and try this. It's just not in your genetic makeup. I feel like you evolve past that way of thinking, and you know, it is what it is, like. And I think, especially, I feel like as you get older as well, you like, I wouldn't say you distance with your friends, but I think it's quite common to obviously, you know, when you're, it's different when you like go to work and stuff, but in terms of like personal relationships and stuff, to like see them like when you choose, sort of thing. So when you're like not surrounded by your friends all the time, like, it's like, but you're not exactly going to have the exact same interests as your friends either, so it's like, you have to just like know, you have to guide yourself in terms of what you want, and it's about like knowing that shit. Like, I'm like, how the fuck does everyone else navigate this sort of stuff when they're going through this? I've literally never seen any person talk about this shit on the internet or anything, just like going through a quarter-life crisis. Like, again, I don't think everyone's prone to it, especially if you've like gone through your education and such like that, where you're used to basically just being locked in a box all day writing about a load of shit. I think, you know, you're just going to think, oh, thank God I'm out that situation. Probably not prone to a quarter-life crisis at that time. But when you have actually experienced life and all that it can offer, and then you sort of plateau out of it a bit, and you're basically using your like internal desires to navigate life, and then all of a sudden your body is more level to being an adult, and you just don't feel those same ways to, you know, navigate it in that sort of a way. It can be a shock. It can be a bit of a shock. You know, does it affect me, the fact I've started taking the pill? Is that why I'm all of a sudden in deep thought all the time? I don't know. But obviously, it's just, it's an adjustment. It may well be, but then it's like, well, I feel like saying what if, maybe this, that and the other probably doesn't actually, it probably doesn't actually benefit your experience. Like, what if this was the situation I was in? I do feel like like, I think it's growth periods, I have to say, right? Looking at all of my past experiences, I have to say, I feel like it's a growth period. When I think life gets harder as well. As you age, the shit that you go through gets harder. You know, you become more level and you become wiser, but the shit you actually deal with is harder. And when you're when you're sort of like navigating that, you like find that you can sort of, I think, it's like a growth period. So it's almost like right, so I'm going through this now, how do I navigate this? Because I feel like whatever circumstance you're in, we all have the same amount of problems, we all have the same amount of hardships, we all have the same amount of ace factors. Okay, ace factors is the wrong word. We all have the same amount of like shit that's bad in our lives, basically the same amount of shit that's good in your life, regardless of your life circumstances. I just feel like that's a genuine truth from my experience. But I think it's just called being like, right, this is your circumstances, this is how you feel, this is what your needs are, like make it happen, make it work. Do you know what I mean? This is what I feel like is the deal at the moment. Because it's like a creative thing, you know. You have to it's like, where I don't want to be like, oh, you have to be the creator of your own reality and blah blah blah, because I feel like a lot more comes into it than that. But it's like, you can't, like, the universe moves you from a circumstance that you have to move from. That's why shit fucks you up so much. That's why your toxic ex has fucked you off to that degree, where it's like, oh, I could keep them as friends with benefits, but they become such a difficulty in your life, so you have to cut them off. If that shit didn't happen, they'd still be in my life. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what can you call it, a toxic ex? But I suppose, yeah, you don't have to get really specific. But you know, it's like, shit gets as hard as it's supposed to get in order for you to make that change. Like, if something's not working, acknowledge it so you can make that change. You know, if you sort of, you know, if that doesn't happen and that's not going to work, you know, you're not gonna go through that process of learning and finding new things, you know. And it's not about looking externally. Yes, you can look externally for like inspiration to a degree. I think you attract what you are. I heard recently that you attract people with the same level of emotional wounding than you, interestingly enough. And then when one person heals, you don't attract that anymore. And also, what's the other thing? You attract people on the same that emanate the same level of stress hormone as well, interestingly enough. But what occurred to me is, like, certain factors of your DNA, you could feel like you could have a very low level of stress hormone in certain parts of your DNA, but other parts you could have like a very high stress level. Do you know what I mean? So it's just interesting that you attract different people. You can think, oh, this person is really good because they go skydiving with me. I've actually got a friend like that. But then I've got other friends where it's like, they're so quiet, they can just chill the fuck out with me. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, it's really just the part of it. And I suppose that's why you attract like a whole bunch of like different like personal relationships, you know. And I suppose even just people in passing, you sort of encounter the universe among lots of different people, because you are just a variety of different things, and that's, I suppose, a beautiful thing. But yeah, like, I feel like the universe, it pushes you from one experience to the next experience, like this, you know, because I haven't really thought very much about how when things change. I do think there's this factor of, I can't really remember where I picked it up. I'm sure it was written on a sheet of paper in a church or something at one point, of this idea of like the butterfly coming out of a chrysalis. And it's sort of basically, yeah, so a chrysalis to a butterfly, basically. I can't really remember what the internal stage is, but I think often when you go through processes, you don't realise that is God, the universe, life preparing you for the next phase or the next thing or the next person or the next evolutionary experience. And do you know what, I've met so many people, like, I feel like there's a lot of fear, which I feel like maybe this is part of what I'm going through at the moment with this quarter-life crisis situation, I feel like there's a lot of fear. I've met so many people though that I feel like may have gone through this or not, as the case may be, where they're like so free-spirited. I've always feel like I've like sort of like found peace in the fact I'm quite a free-spirited person, but I've just come into contact before with these people that are so secure in themselves, but they're clearly so free-spirited, and they don't have had to travel the world to be a free spirit. Like, I've got way too much anxiety at this time to travel the world or even get on a plane. I can't, like, even go on holiday to Devon. I'm just like, I want to stay here, like, I ain't going nowhere, sort of thing. Not this time, I just can't be arsed. And that's for a reason. God doesn't want me to travel the world at this time. But it's like, yeah, like, you know, your experiences make you what you are. Yeah, so people that they're so free-spirited, but they're also so secure in themselves, and it's like they didn't just choose. I feel like there's this quote of you grow through the disappointments, you don't grow through the good times. And I think you can, or something like that, like the disappointments and the things that go wrong are the biggest periods for self-growth and like change, because at the end of the day, positive emotion and shit, it is definitely like operant conditioning. Yeah, positive experiences, they're going to be good for you, but equally having negative experiences, they're going to make you uncomfortable to the point where you're going to want to change. And yeah, I feel like I'm starting to lose my sort of momentum a little bit here, but I feel like I've made my point in that life does shift you through experiences and through relationships as well. I don't really want to go into the whole relationship side of it at the moment, because I feel like I've got that down pretty well. But I also think that, like, I feel like when you look at the life wheel, I feel like when you go through one experience, like what, so say, right, you look at like the wheel of life, for example, you've got like career, relationships, hobbies, work, money, all that side of things. You find that maybe when one side of that goes well, it balances out another side, whereas another side then may not go as well, if you hear what I'm trying to say. So your relationships can start going really well, yeah, so you might ditch a lot of toxic people, but then on the other side of the wheel, you may then find that your hobbies start going really well, your money may start going really well, but then your career section may go down. Do you know what I mean? You may not feel like you're in the right career, you might not, and this shit just perpetually changes. And obviously it's always, and I think it is the way that it's supposed to work out, because you can't focus on your career when you're busy focusing on your children. You can't focus on your monetary gains when you're working upon your hobbies, and you have to, these areas will grow as they're supposed to as you change. And I feel like as you change and as different aspects of you emerge, you attract what you are, and therefore different people into your existence in terms of what you are, and then you, as you progress and grow, if you've learned what you're supposed to learn from that soul contract or whatever, you can move forward through to another experience. And I think it doesn't change that you would have had those experiences, that you will be that way, but you will evolve through to a different part, where different parts of you will sort of emerge, and I suppose, and I think there's just like certain times where like certain aspects will like pervade, right? So I feel like I've met certain people and stuff where like certain real growth periods have come out within myself, and I've sort of like low-key maintained these friendships. I feel like the people you maintain relationships with, you tend to just have like ongoing sort of traits that match theirs. You attract what you are at the end of the day. If you attract someone for a season and a period, which, as you say, they don't have to be a lesson. If you don't have very long soul contract or interaction with them, it doesn't mean, I don't really want to get too deep in soul contracts. We all know that I do believe in past life Buddhism type shit, and that is just a religious thing, and I can't advocate spirituality, but I will say that it doesn't mean that someone is just a lesson, that someone is just a negative interaction, even if you have a short period of time with them. It can just be like you have to remind yourself of how you are. I love this idea. When I've met like really cool people in the past, or people that I've like admired and I've attracted them because I attract what I am, it reminds you sometimes when you forget because of a person or experiences that you are a certain way, you attract people into your reality to remind you, oh yes, I am this, for the good and for the bad. I can't lie. Is there a bad? yes, obviously yes, but is it like really worth judging yourself? We all have insecurities and negative qualities and such like that. You know, just because I've attracted a potential person that's just a difficult person, I'm like, oh, actually, I'm really just quite a difficult person. Then, you know, to a degree, then, or I know I have difficult aspects of me where because of my sensitivities and such that like I literally won't and can't tolerate certain people just because I won't be able to deal with them. So, you know, when you have that sort of thing happen, it's like not about necessarily judging yourself, but knowing that I suppose things do evolve to the point where, you know, you do find different stuff out about yourself. And I definitely think that like it all just evens itself out. This is like the resolution sometimes where it's like clearly myself and how I'm evolving is very much coming to a place of, yes, I'm going into a quarter life crisis to a degree, a very small one, hopefully it won't evolve massively, but I do feel like there's like elements, whereas like I have to look at it like, for example, I met someone recently and they were just like quite a calm person. Yeah, let's go into this. Whereas I feel like in recent years I very much connected with a lot of people that just like have big personalities, like they're very sort of like outgoing, and like not that this person isn't outgoing at all and stuff, they are like extroverted, but I feel like they just got these qualities that I connected with them where they're very like calm. And I know I've had friendships like that, but I haven't really connected with anyone like that in quite a long time, I can't lie. Whereas it's like I feel like I've really just been in this place of extroversion, not necessarily extroversion, I feel that's probably like a lot, but like maybe just like these qualities that have maybe quite externally focused for a while, and now I'm moving to a place where I feel like some of maybe other qualities that are more sort of internally focused and focused on maybe personal gains and creativity and like personal development to a point where maybe I'm just allowed to rest within myself sort of shit is come back round now, where again I'm sure if I looked at astrology this would probably line up as well. I honestly don't know, because as I say, astrology doesn't tell you everything like that, but I feel like there's no negatives to that. But what I'm trying to say is like what goes up must come down. Like it all evens itself out in terms of when you go through periods of time where you're like completely, like I've said in a recent podcast that I went through a period of time for like 3 years, I would say, where I minimally met people that I connected with, minimally, but I was so contented in what I was doing, which was parenting, where I was like, yes, I'm seeing people, but I'm quite content with just moving in my own element. And because it's definitely not, it's very, very varied and challenging to the point where like I'm really happy with what I'm doing, and I'm not making all these brand new connections and meeting all these soulmates and learning all this shit about myself, and but I'm quite happy doing what I'm doing, moving forward. And also I've got to remind myself of like all the times and periods of growth in the past that I've had and all the experiences I've gone into. I've literally never assumed that they were going to be like what they were. Do you know what I mean? You know, even coming out of sixth form in the first year, having mental health problems, going to like a like work skills type centre, you know, I would have never expected that, but it gave me a lot of skills that I needed. And I think you can't always know what you need. This is another thing I've just experienced time and time again, that God gives you what you need, the universe gives you what you need even before you know that you need it, even if that's just nothing, even if it's just depravity. I can't lie, you know, you may actually be very I don't want to use the word spoiled, but probably say you can be very like well off in areas that you may not know about, in terms of like compared to other people. You may have had quite a lot of life experience, or you may have had quite a lot of relationships, or you may have had quite a lot of just, I don't know, something or another. So when you go without that for a while, at the end of the day, we're never completely deprived of what we need, because we are in essence all divine energy, and it's like you cannot be disconnected from all that is just not humanly possible. So it's one sense of getting your mind into, and your emotional body and your auric field into the place of feeling connected to all that is, not having this like mental separation through trauma and such like that. But it's also the fact of inevitably we physically cannot connect with the universe. So the point is, the universe will always bring you what you need, and always bring you what you want, and always bring you what you fear. But I've just experienced time and time again that, you know, it will bring you what you need and what you fear and all this shit. And also, a lot of it is social conditioning. You can believe that you want or need a certain thing because of the conditioning that you will have experienced to having that particular thing. And, you know, you may find that later that is not actually what you need and what your soul needs and what your experience needs. You know, you may find very much that your experience actually needs something very different than that, and that obviously that will manifest itself whether you like it or not. And it's just something to accept. And I think if you have trauma, you can struggle with change. If you have traits of autism, you can struggle with change. And I'm sure I fall on both of those spectrums. And I feel like I often see, they talk about this for like, again, I don't really want to spiritualize shit too much to the point where I'm like advocating like occult shit, because I just feel like, I said, I've done an Genius video where I experienced negative things, dabbling and all that shit. So as I say, anything that I say that comes across spiritual, I'm not like, oh, go buy a pack of tarot cards. But I feel like a lot of what I see, they say this about the idea of light workers and empaths and people that like are, I don't know, I used to hear a lot about people that like maybe, because I think there used to be a lot more stigma in my experience of social groups and how like, I don't know if this still exists, maybe I just haven't been to school in a long time, of like quote unquote the popular people and like the outcasts and shit. But then I don't know if that still exists or whether it's just different, because as I feel like as I've gotten older, that's not really so much definition. I feel like maybe it's just because I've gotten older, but I feel like maybe because of the internet and the rise of the internet, I just feel like overall society has just developed a bit to the point where I don't think kids really see shit like that anymore. I honestly don't know, because I don't go to school, so I honestly can't tell you. Obviously you're always going to get people with personality disorders, and you're always going to get people of all walks of life, but I feel like, yeah, they just talk about people that, like, if a path is not made, make it. Do you know what I mean? That's why people are like, all of a sudden they're like, oh, I do believe it's more of a calling, and it's like what you're destined to do. Because when you look at like your destined path and stuff, it's like, I feel like shit will happen regardless of whether you want it to happen or you choose it to happen or not. Like, I feel like if you're just randomly going to move to like Dubai or some shit, and that's just what you wake up and you want to do one morning, then, well, not one morning, that doesn't generally happen like that, but you do hear a bit about people that just like move across the world because that's just like what they were always going to do. They might not realise that that was what they were always going to do. They may not have always planned to do that. And I think it's also, even though change is terrifying, it can also just be about remembering that you never know what the fuck is going to happen. And that's, in one sense, terrifying. I don't like to terrify myself. And that's why finding stability in life can just be a very, very, I always used to think like, oh, why the fuck are people so mundane? Because I was like always going to school and stuff, and you know, like I just hated, I'm not a 9-to-5 kind of girl, and it was like, why do people love their routine so much? Like, and I see like now the benefit of routine, because it gives people a sense of stability in life's inevitable ups and downs that are just going to be prevalent. So yes, you know, and it's one sense like I feel like I'm just perpetually just like fed up a little bit at the moment, but I feel like it's just because of relationships I've had in the recent past and stuff like that, and obviously, as I say, getting on the pill, going through these like this like low-key quarter-life crisis situation, and also but it is making me grow, like even just like the outlook I have upon people, where I feel like I feel like the average of about 20 to 30% of people will not want you to thrive, and they will initially, from a baseline, actually want you to fail, and some of them may persistently let that get to the point where they sabotage you or such like that. So it's a point of distancing yourself from toxic people, but it's like, yes, I'm very aware of like what's negative and what's positive for me now. It's also to the point where like even just anything, I'm just like, I just don't give a fuck whether someone doesn't want me to be a certain way or do a certain thing, because I'm just like, do you know what? Not only, it's not about autonomy, it's about like, you're someone that I shouldn't be listening to, and it's so clear to me now. And I feel like it's probably always been clear to a degree, but it's like so much so like that, where I'm just like, who are you? Like, who are you? Do you know what I mean? Like, what are you? Like, go away. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I'm quite like a cutting person, I feel like, if I wanted to be. And it's not about how I react to them. I don't want to be an abusive person. I don't want to make someone feel badly, but I also know that I'm quite able to move forward with my own thought processes without someone else's negativity, because it does weigh on you after a while if you just get negativity. And I think it's one sense of just like being a little bit fed up of like, oh, shit keeps changing, or like one thing or the other. I feel like being fed up is not the worst thing that you can experience, but it is easy to feel fed up about stuff when there's some relationship that's making you feel fed up, or there's some like past relationship or whatever, or there's some like life experiences making you feel fed up, or you can just be going through, as I say, a quarter-life crisis sort of low-key situation where you can just feel a bit fed up or whatever, or toxic relationships and such like that. I literally did see a bit, it sounds a bit new agey actually, but it like a vibrational thing of like certain stuff brings up your vibration. I don't really love the idea of vibration massively, because it's a bit new agey for me, and I feel like what goes up must come down, so it's a bit of a confusing situation. But generally, when you feel fed up, it's more of a sense of tired, which is actually just like a vibration. So it's to find things that are like energetically rejuvenating for you. So like if you're an introvert, you'll be charged by being on your own. If you're an extrovert, you'll be charged externally. But no one is charged by toxic relationships. That drains anyone. You can be charged by being around nature. You can be charged by doing something that you find interesting, or resting, or whatever. There are things that put you in a negative vibration. There are things that put you in a positive vibration. So I suppose just taking that with a pinch of salt and not maybe getting too far invested in that shit is what I will have to do. But sometimes you can just be tired for other reasons. Like you can just be for whatever reason. But I think if you go through a period of like, or a season even, or various seasons, many seasons, or a few of them of rest and of just like nothingness to a degree. I wouldn't say nothingness, I don't think anything is really full of nothingness, but just periods of rest and just like levelness to a degree. There's always a reason for that, and everything is a foundation for something else at the end of the day. So especially if you've gone through kind of a few crazy situations where like, because I feel like regardless of what the fuck was going on with my mental side of things, I have always been quite an off the wall impulsive person, where I'm like got like traits of just like wanting to drink all the time, drink until I'm sick, go with this really toxic person because they're just a fucking rush to be around. Do you know what I mean? Like until I had a baby, I was just like that all the fucking time. I wanted to drink all the time, I wanted to go out all the time, I wanted to work 14-hour shifts and then get a taxi to go and see my boyfriend in another town, like in another city. I was mad. Like she was just off the fucking wall. And it wasn't until I had my baby, where I had 3 years of no drinking, settling, having to be a stability for another tiny person, that I was like, oh shit, I'm actually quite nutty compared to the average person. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I think what balances it out is it's not like about losing traits of yourself. I think being sat in a park and making a fucking podcast when there's people around you, which even though it doesn't bother me, it's like, it's a bit of a nutty thing to do. I don't think you'd get a quieter person that gave too much more of a fuck about, I don't know, you just get different types of people. It's not about abandoning those crazy sides of yourself, because don't get me wrong, if I was to be in the right situation, if I was with certain ones with my friends or whatever, which were like heavy drinkers like I was, go about and get absolutely shit-faced and dance and whatever, do stupid shit, then yeah, I could bring that side out of myself. And also it's about being able to be in touch with those sides of yourself without that shit having to be triggered by someone else is actually another thing as well. I like the side of myself where I've got like these like auburn traits and I'm like a bit of a redhead, do you know what I mean, to a degree, where like I benefit that, like that's a beneficial thing about myself. But then on the other end of it, when you have that sort of personality, you also like a lot of rest, because sometimes I just like have felt guilty because I just grew up with narcissistic parents and like extroverted narcissistic parents, and like sometimes when I just want to like be an introvert and just be by myself, like I'd get penalised for it, and they'd be like, oh, you're being antisocial, da, 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 da. And it's like, I'm a very animated person with a lot of like energy to do stupid crazy shit, and I'm very like outspoken, and I've got a lot of hot-headed shit to say, but I gotta have my time to chill the fuck out. Do you know what I mean? I can get drained by people because I'm a fucking introvert, and that's okay. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes, especially people, like I've watched these videos as well about people that are like loners, and would I call myself, okay, yeah, I would proudly call myself like a loner, but obviously I've got friends and stuff. I feel like I'm not a lonely loner. I think this is the definition, where I feel like when you start using these terms, people can just like get the wrong side of the stick here, because I think there's just like a line between lonely and loner, right? I feel like you'd struggle to be a loner if you were an extrovert, okay? Because you'd want to be around people all the time. Because I'm an introvert, I'm quite happy calling myself a loner. I wouldn't externally call myself a loner because people would start to judge me and think, oh, she's lonely, because I just don't want to expose myself to social fucking stupidity, which inevitably comes with people and their like neurotic brains. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm not going to walk around and be like, I'm the biggest loner in the world, wear it as a t-shirt. No. But if I want to have times where I'm on my own, which I can't lie is a large majority of the time, which I think is quite normal for a single 26-year-old girl, actually, who doesn't work a 9 to 5, then I can do that shit. Like, especially, I feel like I'm definitely going through this period of just being very like contained in my experiences, because I just feel like I'm going to go through this massive like growth period. I've just felt it for like the last few weeks, where I'm just going to go through this like massive growth jump, and I could just feel it. It's just my blood, like a shift is going to go on for me. I just feel like just growing in like personality, or I don't know, something. It's not to the point where I might not necessarily just accumulate a load of traits, not accumulate a load of aspirations necessarily, but I definitely know, and I can appreciate the fact that the person I was several years ago and the place that I was and had been in terms of my growth, not that there was anything wrong with me or my growth, or I wasn't dealing with trauma, but it's not like I wasn't, but the person I was back then is not the person I am now, because I've grown since then, and I've got different traits, well, not different traits, but like I'm the same person, but it's like, it's just like that when you grow, you sometimes evolve past shit and you want different stuff. So that is true. I feel like that is true. You can want stuff in certain seasons, or you can think you want it and you actually don't, or you can want it for short periods of time and then you don't want it anymore, sort of thing. You learn what you got to learn, sort of thing, and then you can go separate ways. But yeah, I'm sure that during and after this period I will attract what I am into my life, be that person, experience, whatever. And I'm not super worried, because I feel like I've just had like people around me that I didn't necessarily want recently, and I just feel like I'm just finding, actually, not like I'm like dying for lack of people, but I just want to be in my own centre, at my own peace again, because I feel like that has sort of gone down the wayside recently, where it's like, yeah, you got to be careful on dating apps and shit. And because I was like, oh no, I'm not like, I ain't dealing with no more narcissists. I was like, oh whatever, like if I want hookups, don't really matter who the fuck they are. Yeah, it does matter, like, because you just never know what the fuck's gonna happen on this. It's just not, you got to be careful. So, or not, as the case may be, it really just depends. You know, whole other story. But yeah, so
I don't know anyone.
I just feel like, yeah, that was probably the long and short of what I was trying to say. But yeah, if shit's bothering you, and you don't want to be a certain way anymore, like, I'm sure I've had this a lot worse in the past, where like you as well, you work from a format that you know, you work from a place of what you've experienced and where your trauma is as well. I wasn't really going into a place of talking about trauma and shit like that. It's like, if you have had a neglectful parent or something, and you've only worked from a place of not getting your needs met in a particular way, or you've been very used to like not meeting particular needs, or like not even necessarily needs, but like you're only like, if you're used to being sat down for 8 hours a day, Do you know what I mean? You're used to what you know, and I do think your needs can change through life. So sometimes, you know, it's going to work for you to sit down for 8 hours a day if you're at school all the time. When you come out of school, then you're not really going to want to sit down for 8 hours a day anymore. You're going to want to be somewhere else and do something else. And growth is exciting. So as much as it's like, oh, it's a pain to feel negatively, I said recently that see every problem as an opportunity. So if your problem is that you're not feeling particularly good about something in particular, figure out what the fuck it is and change it. Like, see it as an opportunity for change, because it gives you autonomy over what the fuck you're doing. And if you realise you either can't change something, or it's just an inevitable truth that you have to be with yourself in that aspect, or you have to just respect that part of yourself, then do so as well, and move forward with that as well, and actually just value that about yourself and use that as a place to grow as well, because that's also important to be able to navigate as well. Because some stuff, I think often when you think negative stuff about yourself, is often not truth, but if you, sometimes you can just find that, like, oh, actually I do have this really like somber element of myself where, like, sometimes I actually just go into this like melancholy or like chill vibe that I just need to be with that space with myself, and I just need to accept that about myself and not have to force myself into this like very extroverted, very loud person that I'm not, just because I've been socialised in that way. I think a lot of it is either negative social conditioning, one size fits all social conditioning, or not being able to actually fully embrace your true personality because of life circumstances, which is actually just another thing. You can be really, I think the brain just gets confused sometimes when you're overcoming cycles and stuff. You can be confused and you can be frustrated when you're not sort of continually getting what you're used to, even if that what you're used to is not something that you need anymore, or is not something that you need to evolve with. Do you know what I mean? So it can be frustrating to the point where you're sort of going back trying to find that shit, and it's actually not even there. It's like, you know, where are they? They ain't coming back, honey. You know, this situation ain't coming back. You got to adapt. Do you know what I mean? You got to adapt to the next situation. You got to adapt past that and actually just be like, this is not for me. I don't need this shit right now. I need to actually just center myself and actually just be like, when none of us are above, I mean, narcissists think they are because they can't be within their inadequacies, but it doesn't change the fact no one is above starting on rock bottom. So even if you're like, well, do you know what? I've actually felt this pressure to be an extrovert my entire life, and now I want to start my own business. I want to just travel the world or whatever, which involves being alone a lot of the time. Society has told me, through being in an institutionalized system such as school or something for my entire life, that being on my own is not possible. It's not healthy. Being alone in school is not necessarily the healthiest thing by social standards, because it means that you're not socializing with a group. Most people do want to have some level of friendship at school or something, just for like social connections, such like that. Let's not even go into that right now. But if you've had that sort of conditioning your entire life, and then you come out of an institutionalized system where you're like, actually no, what I'm doing right now does involve me being alone quite a lot of the time, you know, whether you have like a self-directed job, whatever, it's a shock to the system, because all of your conditioning, and this is what I've learned through evolving past toxic relationships, all of your conditioning is actually centering you to the point of, no, this is wrong. This is wrong. I need this. Where are all these people? Why have I not got people around me all the time? Why aren't my friendships right next to me? Why isn't this? Why isn't that? And it's like, actually, it's not necessary. It's literally not necessary at all. And actually recognising that, and recognising it's just past conditioning, and your inner child saying, wait, this isn't what I'm used to, is okay, actually. And that's kind of how we are all conditioned. And it's about chilling your inner child out and being like, do you know what, actually no, this is sweet, we're okay. But also it can just be a bit of a stable reminder of like, okay, well no, if I do want this particular aspect and I'm not getting my needs met in this particular pace, then I can meet this need, you know? And that's why trial and error is just a very helpful part of life, because if you can have a system or a situation or a life experience until you have shit really change, which has happened, I'm sure, to us all, but if you've got a lot of shit that works, that you know meets your needs, and you've got like a routine for that, and you've got a lot of things set up in your life, this overall, you're on the right track, more or less, which most of us are at most points in our life, then making little tweaks shouldn't be that difficult. I think that is an interesting point of sometimes you can just have these extreme fears or these like unnecessary assumptions about yourself or about other people. Like, I've literally seen this, I never watched it, but I saw a video entitled, and it's to do with like PTSD and trauma and all this shit about thinking everyone else has their shit together and you don't. Which I don't actually feel that way, but I feel like sometimes I've kind of got traits of that. Sometimes I can be like, oh no, like I can have that thought process. Like, obviously I come out of it quite quickly because I know it's not the truth, but it is that sort of sense of state of mind of like, in order to have my shit together, I've got to fall back to this like past conditioning of where I felt validated. And it's either whether like, oh, I need to validate myself now, I need to get better at validating myself and my genuine needs, rather than just working from a place of like operant conditioning by toxic people, where people are like kind of extracting from you what they need. So that can be part of it, but also just like through general evolution and growth in life, to be better at validating yourself. Because I think as well, as you get older, and when you're young, when you're a child, a lot of what you need is actually given to you. Like, you are validated, especially in like schools and stuff, like your needs are often validated like through like the growth periods of life. As you get older and you go through things like a quarter life crisis, you've not got that necessary, you can have people in your life that do validate this shit for you, but you've not got that necessary structure of, unless obviously I'm talking about, obviously sometimes you will have like workplace and stuff, we have older people that can sort of help guide you through that experience. You can have family members and friends and such like that, but you may not at all points and times in life have that structure to fall back on at every single second of knowing what the fuck is going on. You have to sort of use your common sense to guide that a little bit. Be that navigating people that may be toxic for you, be that self-growth, be that just cutting down unnecessary thought processes or assumptions about yourself, or even the world, actually. Because I have heard, as I've said in the past, if you get brought up with a pessimistic mother, you can have real negative belief systems about the world, which are often not grounded in truth, but are just often grounded in what you felt comfortable to internalize as to not threaten the toxic parent, which is very, very sad. And that is a type of self-growth that will facilitate when I allow myself to detach from this idea of just being constrained to a particular way of being, because that's what was validated within me for so long, that I'm like, oh my god, like to a degree, because like I think even when you're not conscious of it, when you manifest an experience into your life, it can just be a really good example. It's a mirror of what your wounds are. So it's like when you manifest a narcissist, like, I am used to a narcissist validating me. It's like, how can I validate myself that way? How can I heal from this? And like, how can I actually validate myself to the point where, you know, I don't manifest that into my experience anymore? Because, and that is literally what it is. It's like, it's uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable going with something that you're not used to, and being more self-directed and being more like proactive about your life experience. It's uncomfortable because your nervous system at a very baseline is not used to it. And it's not so much that it sees it as a threat, but it can see it as a threat, especially when you've been exposed to people that you feel that you have to minimize yourself around, because of feeling a threat to them in various degrees. You know, and you feel that you can't then express certain sides of yourself and such like that, so you feel that you have to go with the one-size-fits-all system that actually may not be what serves your particular person to the degree that you deserve. Because at the end of the day, we all have to grow, and we all are going to grow in different ways. If you're an extrovert, then you're going to grow by connecting with people in an extroverted way. If you're an introvert, you're going to grow potentially by working on shit in a more solitary way. And that is just life. And I honestly couldn't care less what Karen or what other Karen could tell me that I'm not fitting their social standards. I really couldn't care less. So yeah, it's literally like that. And you know, everything is a growth experience. If you weren't uncomfortable, everything would stay the same, and inevitably things do not stay the same ever. Everything always changes at the right rate. And you know, because I think everyone's got some level of perception about where they want to be and where they want to go. And sometimes when I think about that, I think, oh, I can see the process and the journey I'm going to have to make within myself to reach that next degree. Because I do definitely believe in like universal levels of like, you can level up in experiences. If you want more money, yes, it is about the logistics, but it's also about killing all of the belief systems around finances that limit you as well. It's like you can genuinely move up those universal levels. You can unlock those literal universal key levels to meeting higher needs. You know, you might not have the desire to be a millionaire, so therefore whether the universe doesn't provide you those keys to unlock the key to being a millionaire, if you're not supposed to be a millionaire, I feel like if you haven't got a desire to do something, then it doesn't matter. But yeah, I can literally see, like, to a degree, like, obviously, I think that is kind of the case of what's happened. I've not had any clue about how I'm going to get here. If someone was going to say to me, I was going to have a child at 24, or that I was going to be, I don't even know, half the shit that has happened with me, I would not have expected, I would not have predicted, particularly. I would not have told you previously that I thought my life was going to unfold that way. But overall, I feel like I'm kind of where I saw myself, if I really think about it. And I think when I look forward to 5 years, 10 years time, 15 years time, 20 years time, even beyond that, I'm like, I can see the growth that I'm going to experience. And I think to a degree, I'm just sort of like, I've been like sort of trying to facilitate that, which is healthy. But I think this is part of the midlife crisis situation, where once your body does start to normalise, I think there's a more predictable way that your body will actually grow and it will actually progress to the point where you're able to navigate that in a more measured way. Whereas when you're young, your hormones are just all over the place. Your psychology is literally all over the place, and you know, it's less predictable. So I think as you get older and you start to know yourself more and your body starts to level out a bit more, you can probably navigate that sort of growth that is necessary, that it's necessary for everyone to have that emotional processing, that time to be with themselves, to centre and blah, 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 check in with yourself, blah, 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 emotional health, mental health, all that shit. Whether it is with a therapist or whether it is just with yourself, meditation time, whatever the fuck people do. But you navigate it better. And I think because it's also a sense of divine timing, it's also about shit happens when it's supposed to happen. When you go through these growth periods, it will happen at a specific time. It will happen even from a hormonal level at the time it's supposed to actually happen, and to try and force that and enforce that earlier than is necessary or possible is actually you know, not going to work. So you know, again, without getting on too hard on the spiritual side of things, when I talk about past lives, when I've talked about having these diametrically opposite past life experiences with relationships and people than you will have had in a past life experience, I feel like to a degree it helps me understand the experiences I've had with people that I feel like I may have had past life connections to, or even it could potentially, if I wanted to, help me predict the future experiences I'm going to have because of how I feel and perceive past experiences that I've had or whatever, I feel like that could be a possible way for me to move forward. I don't know. I think with that sort of side of things, I don't know. It could be a way of navigating. I don't think necessarily trying to predict what is going to happen is necessarily the right way to move through life, only because I think it's just hard. I don't think it's necessarily possible. But I do think it's helpful for me sometimes to have that mindset for an objective perspective on how things may have unfolded a particular way, just since I've learned about that concept and stuff before. So I just think, I don't know, recently I've literally just gone through a lot of experiences which have just actually really raised my self-esteem in terms of like, even though people have literally been trying to like dwindle it, I've literally just found that like, I don't know, like I feel like my self-esteem is massively raised to the point where like my self-esteem is pretty stable at the moment. There are aspects of myself where I'm like, I definitely need to work on that shit, but I'm definitely much more stable in my self-esteem than I definitely have been in the past, for a positive actually. And I think it's also when people I don't even want to talk about other people and how that connects with my self-esteem right now. I just do it for the experimental felt, but so yes, I feel like I should leave it there. One other thing I will just touch on actually is just that you attract what you're afraid of, and in the sense of problems and seeing problems as an opportunity and being able to stay grounded and measured within ups and downs and negatives and problems and hardships of life that are inevitably going to happen, especially as you get older, is just like a really key skill to life, which I feel like I'm probably just going to have to develop more at the moment, because as much as you can hope that shit doesn't happen, it will inevitably happen. And sometimes people are just walking red flags where you think, oh fuck, that's going to be an issue for me. Like, just however the fuck that unfolds, you know what I mean, where you think, I'm literally, even if it's just like a narcissist walking past you with an attitude, you think, oh, they're just going to just irritate me on a very core level. What am I going to do here? Am I going to look at them? Or am I going to look the fuck away so I haven't got to experience that? You know? Or, as I say, as things, and just navigating that. But then if you didn't attract what you were afraid of, then you would never evolve, and that you would carry this sense of unknown and fear, which is actually quite a scary thing, to be honest, if you really don't look at it. And I think it can be confusing, the way that life brings you experiences that you didn't expect, because, you know, life is bringing you what you're afraid of. You know, it doesn't have to be a terrifying fear, it doesn't have to be like a kidnap level fear of like, oh, I'm in such terror right now. And like, because we've all had that experience of terror, whether you're watching a horror film and you're just like terrified or whatever. Horror films that scary? I don't know. But it does have to be like that, like really high level terror. But it can just be something that you just like low-key have anxiety about. And it might not be like a really close experience with that either. It can just be like a passing by. It actually does make me very interested to see how I do experience situations in life that I'm actually dealing with, though, because it's such a surreal experience sometimes, where like I'm literally dealing with like a particular person, or have dealt with a particular person, and that type of person will literally just like walk past me, like that looks exactly the same as that. It's shit like that where I'm just like, oh my god, the same type of person just walking straight past me. And it's just really surreal, and literally just seeing shit I've evolved past as well, when like it's just been so surreal. It doesn't happen all the time. Even seeing like angel numbers and shit like that, like I swear, I've been around a particular person recently, every single time I see them there was just angel numbers everywhere. It's just like so bizarre, but it gives me a sense of real grounding, like in life, because I'm just like, you just couldn't make this shit up. Do you know what I mean? As much as I'm like, it's not necessarily to get like too deep into spirituality of life, it's definitely an aspect to be considered. You know, like it's a bit mad, like it really. And it's like, but then I've recently thought, is it because they're like an angelic influence in my life, or is it because the angels are like guiding me past the level of toxicity that I'm experiencing? So anyway, that's just not necessary to really consider that right now. But yeah, I've actually rambled on for way too long, so I'm gonna end this now. But I suppose this is somewhere between understanding the universe and being in it versus this is my low-key quarter-life crisis situation. So yes, thanks for listening.